and you would like to stand out as a leader in a virtual meeting, well, in this video, I'm going to share with you so many strategies that are going to absolutely help you be able to stand out as a leader in a virtual meeting. Now, I'm going to give you something that I typically do not say on my channel, but if you are a leader in today's world, I will say you probably have, with certainty, at least been in a virtual meeting at some point within the past year or so. This is a part of our life now, and I want to share with you how you can really stand out in a virtual meeting, because this is the day and age that we live in. You absolutely want to watch this video until the end. Why? Because if you truly are trying to elevate yourself as a leader, how you are communicating as a leader, then you absolutely want to know what specifically it is that will make you stand out. And that's what I do on this channel. If you like this information so far, feel free to watch a few videos here on my live tab and also on my pre-recorded videos. My goal here really is to help you communicate concisely and confidently under pressure so that you stand out from everybody else as a leader. And if this sounds like something you are very interested in, then welcome. This is the place for you to be. And if you clicked on this title, I know you're special, because the type of videos that I upload to my channel or talk about on my channel are very, very much catered to a certain type of individual. The exceptional leader, the ambitious leader that has a big message they want to share and they want to be able to communicate at that next level. And I know that is you, because you're watching this video. Now, if you are new to me, I'm an executive coach. My name is Dr. Jacinta, and I provide executive coaching and consulting services to women in leadership. Now, if you happen to not be in that audience, maybe you are a woman that is not a leader, or maybe you are a man in leadership, you will learn so many universal strategies that will help you to accelerate your growth as a leader on this channel. So even if you are not in my direct audience I provide services to, you're going to learn a lot here, friends. So feel free to subscribe to the channel if you want to learn more. If you are watching this portion of the video, you are more than likely watching the replay. And welcome, friend. Give me just a few moments, because there is typically a point in time on YouTube Lives where the audience will join, and I will say hello to everyone. And then we'll go into how you can stand out in a virtual meeting. Now, as I mentioned, you have a 100% chance of being in a virtual meeting as a leader. 100% chance. 100. So let's talk about how you can stand out. Well, first, I want to say that I recorded a video about standing out in a virtual meeting as a live a couple weeks ago. I need to modify a couple things on it, so it's not visibly public right now, but I will definitely, this will make up for it. I will go into a lot more detail on how you can stand out in a virtual meeting. But before we get started, let me say hello to Pot of Gold JR 7105. Welcome, friend. Hope you're doing well today. And hello to all of you who are present right now. Let me know what part of the big, beautiful world you are joining from today, friends. And would you like to stand out in a virtual meeting like leader? Let me know in the comments below. Say yes, or let me know what are some, I'd say, struggles, some challenges you've had with being a leader in a virtual setting. We have Pray to God Loves You Like Mikey, and they say hi. Love your hair if it's so nice. Okay, well, welcome, friend. Glad you're doing well. Let me know what part of big, beautiful world you are joining from today. So let's talk about this. So as I mentioned a moment ago before you all join, the likelihood of you being in a virtual meeting is 100%. 100%. And this is something that you want to be able to learn how to master. Now, before I get into it, I have a couple things in the chat. Ezra-P2L, I believe. Welcome, friend. How you doing today? Pray to God Loves You Like Mikey says, yes, I love your hair. I'm going to sub. Well, absolutely. Appreciate you, friend. And you're going to learn a lot of information here. Pray to God Loves You Like Mikey. I am really here to help you communicate at that higher level. So if you have ever wanted to communicate concisely, confidently, under pressure as a leader, this is the best place for you to be. Caroline Bell-H3Y, welcome, friend. Hope you're doing well today. Let me know where you all are joining from in the big, beautiful world today. And let's talk about how to help you stand out in a virtual meeting today. The first, I would say the basics. I'm going to go through these pretty quickly because I've talked about these in a previous video. But one of the first things you want to do if you are in a virtual setting is you want to be mindful of your background. So your background should be a very clean background. You don't have to have this elaborate setup for a meeting specifically. Now, if you're doing things on YouTube or trying to develop your studio, that's completely separate. If you're in your traditional meeting, you don't have to have this elaborate background set up. It could be just a very clean wall. It could be a picture on the wall if you want it. It doesn't have to have any of that. Just make sure your background is pretty clear. Make sure that your dress attire that you have on actually stands out in video. This is something people don't really talk about. So you want to look for your more bold colors that perhaps look more professional and polished in their appearance. So you want to look possibly at your whites, your blues, and if you're a lady, you might want to look at maybe some other softer type colors like your lavenders, your pinks, your reds, and etc. Think about the colors that really look very good on you. You want to make sure in a virtual setting, these are the colors that you're wearing and that it doesn't clash with your clean background that you decide to have. Another tip I would share with you, and as I mentioned, I'm going through these quickly because I want to go into the strategies that I did not talk about in the previous live video. The next strategy I would mention to you is to make sure that in your virtual setting, you are in the frame. You're in the box. You don't want your head to be chopped off in the box. You don't want to look like your head was chopped off. You don't want to look like your chin was chopped off either. Make sure when you're in a virtual setting, and Zoom and different softwares allow you to preview yourself before you go live, so to speak. Make sure your head is in the square. It's in the square. I say this because I spent a lot of time online, not only here on YouTube, but in a online Toastmasters group that I was in many years ago, and it was strictly online. Therefore, I've learned a lot in terms of how do you communicate online and really stand out in a meeting. Now, if you want to do extra, you always can have a green screen, you can have a background on it. You can do a lot of things to stand out online, but here I'm just sharing with you the basics. If you don't necessarily have a green screen or you don't want to use that, these are basic things you need to do. So we've talked about a couple things so far for those of you who have joined. We've talked about your background, we've talked about your attire, what you're wearing, and we've also talked about the positioning of yourself in the square. Make sure you are in the box and not outside of the box in terms of a virtual meeting. Now let's talk about what are some strategies that you can use and start really implementing today that will help you to stand out in a virtual meeting. This is the reason why you clicked on this video, because you want to stand out in a virtual meeting, and I want to help you do that, friend. Now, one of the first strategies when you are in a virtual meeting, one of the most important and the oddest and the strangest strategy that people really struggle with is looking directly in the camera. Most of the time when we're in a virtual meeting, and let me know in the comments below, have you ever struggled with this in a virtual meeting, what I'm about to talk about right now? Have you ever struggled with looking at the camera in a virtual meeting? Let me know in the comments below, or let me know if you've ever struggled with something in a virtual meeting. Let's talk about it so I can help you get over that challenge so you can move forward quickly. Now, in a virtual meeting, you want to take a look and be mindful of the camera. Make sure you are looking at the camera, because when you're looking at the camera, it is showing that you are making direct eye contact with the people that you are speaking with. Now, it feels weird because most of the time in a one-on-one conversation that we're having with other people, we are looking directly at them. And for us to look at the camera and know that I'm looking at the camera, but I'm not really looking at the person and I'm still talking, there's a part of that that feels very, very awkward, right? It feels very, very awkward, like this doesn't feel natural. Well, it doesn't feel natural, but this is why you are hopefully subscribed to this channel, so you learn these advanced communication skills so that these situations, when they come up, feel more natural to you. This is a great way for you to make eye contact. If you are trying to make a big point or a big statement, you want to make sure you're looking at the camera. Even though it feels odd that you're not really looking at the person when you're speaking, that's okay. After you make your statement, you can always and see what their response is. However, when you are communicate and look directly at your camera. This will make you stand out, because most people do not do this, friends. They do not do this in a virtual meeting. They will just look directly at the person, but they're looking down and it doesn't look like they're looking directly at them. So that is a strategy that will help you. stand out in a virtual meeting. Another strategy that will help you to stand out in a virtual meeting as a leader will be to modify your tone of voice. When you are in a virtual setting, sometimes what will happen is that your tone of voice may not necessarily be elevated or lowered to add excitement to what you are saying. This happens oftentimes in a virtual meeting. People are just there and they're just talking. However, if you can start mastering some of the public speaking strategies that I share on my channel, you will stand out as someone who is speaking in a virtual setting. If you are able to add some excitement to what you're saying, possibly you are able to elevate your voice or lower your voice depending on what you're saying, you will automatically stand out in your virtual meeting. Most people are not trained public speakers or trained communicators to do this. Most of the time people will speak in the same voice. There's no elevation, there's nothing. It's just the same voice they have normally when they're speaking. When you are communicating and speaking to a group of people, you have to be able to increase and decrease the tone of your voice to make a big impact. This is another strategy that will absolutely help you stand out in a virtual meeting. I also want to mention to you one other, I would say, bonus, and this is something I talk about on my YouTube channel here. I talk about knowing your baseline. If you look at any of my live videos here that talk about tone of voice, more than likely I have had a brief moment where I talked about knowing your baseline. I'm not going to go into a ton of detail on that right now at the moment for this because I want you to stand out in a virtual meeting. But take a look at some of those videos. I talk about developing your baseline. What is your baseline voice that you speak every single day? What is it specifically? And then you want to modify that baseline tone of voice, elevate it, lower it, and that will help you to sound a bit more different or more excited or maybe more concerned in a virtual meeting. So let me see what's coming up on the chat. Pray to God loves you. Mikey says, hold up, I have to go on the bus. I subbed, so I will come back. Well, pray to God loves you, Mikey. Appreciate that. Hope you have a safe trip today while you're traveling. And absolutely, friend, I'm glad that you subscribed. You're going to learn a lot of great information here. This video, as soon as YouTube uploads it, sometimes for the lives, it takes a little bit longer for it to upload. It will be available for you to watch as a replay. I have a lot of videos here on my channel that really focus heavily on communication and these advanced level communication and public speaking skills that will make you stand out as a leader. So feel free to take time whenever you have a free moment to just take a look at the live videos and some of my pre-recorded videos. You're going to learn a lot of information here on this channel. So glad you're here and welcome to the group of exceptional communicators. Now, we've talked about several strategies so far. So we're going to go into a couple more. Now, we've talked about your tone of voice. You need to establish your baseline. This is very important for you to be able to do. And now let's talk about the next aspect that will help you to stand out as a leader in a virtual meeting. The next is your body gestures. Believe it or not, when you are in a virtual meeting, what happens oftentimes is that people tend to keep their hands down in a virtual meeting, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. However, if you want to stand out in a virtual meeting, when you are making a statement or you are saying something that is very impactful or something you really want to focus or make a very big emphasis on, your hands are very important for you to do that. Let me explain to you why this is so incredibly important and a good strategy you want to start using today when you have your virtual meetings. When you are in the box, so to speak, when you're in the small box that's there, when you're in a virtual meeting, it is very small. Therefore, when you make a gesture with your hands, it comes across as very big. So for instance, I am on my iPhone and I'm recording with you here. If I make a big gesture with my hands, it looks bigger depending on how you're looking at it, because I'm in not the small box of a virtual meeting, but I am in a vertical box here on my iPhone because I'm vertically streaming. Now, if you're in a meeting, your box is going to be a small horizontal square. If you want to make a big statement, let's say you had a huge success with a project, this is what you could potentially do. First, before I go into it, when you make a gesture with your hands, your arms need to be up. Don't necessarily have your hands half down because then it looks like you can't really see what's going on. Your hands need to be up a bit more so everybody can see this person, this amazing leader is saying something really impactful. Let me give you an example of what you can say and a hand gesture that could potentially go with it. An example of this will be the following. Let's say you have a big project, you have a huge milestone, huge success you're trying to make. You could say, everyone, we have had the biggest amount of results in our project. Now, what did you see in my hand gestures that I just showed to you in a virtual meeting? You saw that two things happened, actually 3 things happened in this conversation. So before I dive into that, let me say hello to Peter Vasinski. I believe I said that correctly. If I did not, friend, I'm sorry. So Peter Vasinski, welcome. Hope you're doing well today. Let me know what part of the big, beautiful world you are joining from. And if you've ever struggled with having a virtual meeting and really standing out in it, this is what we're talking about today. And we're about to wrap up, but let me dive into what I just did a few moments ago. We have Joel May -CR3ZD. Welcome, friend. Hope you're doing well today. Okay, so if you missed what I did, definitely want to watch the replay. I said I gave an example of when, let's say you did something really a big result and you're talking about in a virtual meeting and what I did. For those of you who just joined, you probably missed it. So let me do it again. So if you're talking to someone as a leader in a virtual meeting and we're making you stand out, let's say you're talking about a big project that had great results. So what I did a moment ago, I said, we had a big milestone or result that happened with our project. What did I do to make me stand out in this meeting? There's a few things that just happened here, and I'll go through them very quickly. First of all, what I mentioned, my tone of voice was higher than what it normally is. Number 1, that will help you to stand out in a virtual meeting. Number 2, my facial expressions showed excitement. That is something that will help you to stand out in a virtual meeting. Most of the time in a virtual meeting, many people are just numb to it at this point, and we just go on there just to go on there, just to listen to what people have to say. However, that's not why you're watching this video. You're watching this video because you want to stand out in a virtual meeting, not be the average person. If you are elevating your voice to show excitement, and you are elevating your facial expressions, showing that excitement, eyebrows are going up, there may be a smile on your face, your eyes are getting bigger, then you are showing that what you are saying is really important and it's very monumental to the conversation that you're having. What was the third thing that I did? This is what we're focusing on in terms of your hand gestures. You saw that my hands went up. They went up quite a bit, and you saw that I had emotion. This was big, this was huge. All of that makes you to stand out. Now, if I said the same thing in this tone, now I'm going to do it quickly. We had a really big milestone happen in our project. It doesn't have as much excitement to it, and it doesn't stand out as much because I'm saying it and my hands are I'm just saying we had a big milestone in the project. However, if you want to stand out in the virtual meeting, let's try to do things a bit differently. Use your hands to help you to make a very big statement. This is something that will absolutely help you be able to move forward. Now, before I go into the chat, let me see what's going on. We have Sir_Max_D. I am not sure what you are saying. Let me see what's going on. There's like a lot of things that came up in the chat, and it's quite a bit to it's quite a bit. It's just like a copy paste. So okay, all right. So nonetheless, I didn't quite understand what that person was saying. It was just like they copied and pasted a bunch of things, and it was like too much to read. It was too much. So anyways, nonetheless, in this video, we've talked about strategies that will help you to be able to stand out in a virtual meeting as a leader, whether you are a woman in leadership, if you're my direct audience that I provide executive coaching services to. If you're struggling with this and you absolutely want to contact me for a strategy session, in the description below, let's have a brief call. Let's talk about where you are and how I can help you to stand out in a virtual meeting. If you happen to be a woman that's not a leader or a man in leadership, these strategies I share with you will help you to stand out in a virtual meeting. I shared some strategies with you that will absolutely help you to do this. And there's a lot more strategies you can do in a virtual meeting to stand out. If you want to learn more about it, let me know in the comments below. I may talk a bit more about this on this evening when I go live. It just depends. Let me know in the comments below if you want to learn more about this, or if there's something else you want to learn more about. Start using the strategies I shared with you as soon as possible. It will help you. If you're concerned and you're trying to figure out, well, how do I do it? And how can I make it not sound rehearsed and very conversational? That is why you subscribe to the channel, friend. I will help you to learn these advanced level communication skills so that you can make that big impact on your businesses, on your communities, on the world that you are trying to do. Because I know you, as a leader that have clicked on this video, are very special, and you have something special inside of you. You want to make sure you communicate to the world. Therefore, you just need to be able to fine-tune yourself in such a way to where you are articulating yourself in a very concise and very inspirational type of way. So I hope this information has helped you all. I appreciate you so much for being present during the live today and your engagement. If you have any topics you want to learn more about, let me know in the comments below, and I will see you all in the next video. I hope you have an absolutely amazing day, and I will see you later this evening for another live. Bye for now.